What is up, man? We're back here on the regular podcast. I'm your host, Alec Miller, and I'm joined as always by my main man, Paul Trinidad. What's up, man?
What's happening, man? I got a surprise for the viewers. I brought out the throwback,
Hell yeah.
to celebrate the season kicking off. I'm thrilled, man. I can't wait for us to have a successful season as far as the show and hopefully on the court.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, at this point, we all know what our expectations are, but if we can exceed those expectations, that would be great.
Yeah,
Both on here on the show and on the Rockets. So, got a big week. It's the start of the NBA. This is a great time for sports fans right now. Like it's like that perfect middle where you got
yeah,
football, you got baseball, and you got basketball, all happening at the same
yeah.
time.
This triangle.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I'm looking excited. I'm looking forward to this upcoming week. I'm actually got my eyes. If you see me glance up, I got my eyes on the Braves Dodgers game.
Yep.
Cheering for the Braves in that one.
Hell yeah.
Uh, and then shortly after, I'll put on the Astros game because we
Right.
are a Houston podcast and we are Astros supporters. It's not looking good right now, but hey,
Yeah.
every game you start 0-0. Hopefully that we know what we're capable of, and hoping that our pitching can come through.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you remember, but on the last show I told you the Red Sox was a team I did not want to play.
Hmm.
Because I was scared that it would become an emotional series. And right now, I mean, they got the momentum. So, we're wishing the best for the Astros. We obviously support our hometown. And yeah, man, let's just take it one pitch at a time. You guys got it, man. You still have a lot of talent, and hopefully we can come up on top.
For sure, I'm hoping the bats can come alive. That's really what we need at the moment, since our pitching is kind of lackluster with the loss of McCullers. So you just gotta go in game at one game, like I said, one game at a time. Tonight is a very important game. It ensures that we'll have one more game here in Houston at least. So
Yeah,
hoping that we can get this win tonight. We'll see. Greinke's finally making his postseason debut,
yeah,
and hopefully he can deal tonight. Also, Texans doing about as good as we thought they were gonna do. They're 1-5
yeah.
right now.
1 and 5.
Um, since
I
Tyrod went
forgot.
down, it's just been bad.
Yeah, I think our prediction. I don't. Maybe you can remind me, Alec. I think we're saying around 4 games, maybe.
Hmm. Yeah, I said like four or
But
five, but
with Tyrod, I mean, I think you know 2 or 3 is a little more realistic.
no, yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping that he comes back soon. That would be great. But other than that, let's get into some Rockets, bro. We have the first game, the first week coming up. So we
Yeah,
have 3 games for the week before we are back next week, and we have Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the Oklahoma City Thunder on Friday, and then we have the
oh,
Boston Celtics on Sunday.
yeah,
Not too bad of a start, Minnesota's always struggling. Oklahoma City's in rebuild mode, but they seem like they're preparing to be in rebuild mode for the next like 20 years with all those draft picks they got.
yeah,
And Boston is a contender. There's no doubt about that. So hopefully we can at least eke out a win or two in these 3 games. What game do you have circled if you're just looking at these first 3 games?
First 3 games. It's actually the OKC game. Really because I I know OKC is not. There's no pressure to win there, and
Mm-hmm.
there's kind of veterans on that roster that are going to be playing, and a lot is up in the air for their careers. Just kind of a team with no sort of direction. So if we the reason I want to see how we do in that game is because I know our team is super young. They're going to be led by Jalen Green, and I really want to see them take care of business in that game. And it's the home opener, so if they come out and we can't even handle a team like OKC, I might need to readjust my expectations for the rest of the year. So that's mainly why I have it circled is because it's the one I'm expecting a win on.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see if they can deliver.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's kind of where I'm right now. I'm kind of just thinking, who do I want to see match up against each other? Um, really like Jalen Green mostly match up against who I want to see him play against. He's the one that
Yeah.
I'm gonna have my eye on the whole season. So immediately my mind kind of jumps out to Anthony Edwards. I
Hmm.
want to see how those two kind of compete. You know, they're both at the same around the same size. You know, they play close to the same position. So I want to see how those two guys interact. If there's any like chippiness, if there's a little bit of a friendly competition. Same thing with KPJ, with him being as young as he is. So I'm
Yeah.
actually looking forward to probably Minnesota's game, and I think
Cool.
that a part of me is like, because I know we can win. I know we can win the OKC game. I kind of do expect to win that one, but this one could be one of those ones where it's like, who's gonna get the edge up on each other between the Rockets and the Timberwolves with their whole like with them being in the same kind of talent level and level of competition.
Yeah.
So I want to see if maybe hopefully we have the edge. You know, playing a team that's on the rise like we are.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we are a similar team. I mean, we were in a tanking battle last year,
Mm-hmm.
and this year, the difference between us and Minnesota is we've only been doing this a year, and they've been doing it probably 5 or 6 years, like kind of
Mm-hmm.
just trying to find themselves still. So, yeah, I think it's a great matchup. Like they have a talented roster, underachieving but talented. So it's the perfect test, like out of the gate. And even Cat, getting some matchups with C Wood should be interesting.
Yep.
They might not play each other directly every time, but they're going to pick each other up on some switches. So, both those guys have something to prove, man. And coming out of the gate, I want to see Seawood getting it. So that's going to be a good one, man. And just to move on to the third one against Boston, I mean, that's not one I'm exactly expecting the Rockets to win, like coming out of the gate, because Boston has some pretty high expectations this year. But even that one, I think, is possibly winnable. Like you have Jalen Brown coming back off an injury, the Celtics trying to reestablish themselves with their front office, finding a new direction. So yeah, man, like Boston has the deeper roster, but it's one of those where if you could hit them early in the season,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably better than playing them 20 games in, before they have their footing under and chemistry. So, if the Rockets could go 2-1, this would be great.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of an expectation.
For sure. So yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see how Jason Tatum and I'm gonna probably say KPJ because him being in the league a little bit longer. I think he has a lot to prove this year, and we'll get to that when we talk about like most improved uh,
Yeah.
player. I think he has a lot to prove, and being able to put like a 50 piece on the Celtics would be amazing. You know, that like I said, that's one that I don't really expect us to win. If we win, that's great, but that kind of will give me, it will allow me to kind of more like sit back and watch each player individually, which is going to be nice instead of
Yeah.
like getting too excited. But like I said, if they can, take get an upset early in the season, that would do wonders for the confidence of those of all the young guys, all the rookies that we have there. Don't forget we have what 5 of them, so that would be a nice little notch on your belt. Be able to come in first week of the NBA season and get a upset victory over a team like Boston would be really nice for the team.
Yeah, man. And it's important to get those wins early because, after Boston, I mean, you literally have Dallas, Utah,
Mm-hmm.
LA, Phoenix, Denver, Golden State. 5 out of 6, no, 6 out of 7 of those are on the road, which is
Yeah.
just completely brutal schedule. Those are all playoff contenders. It's gonna, we're obviously gonna be losing some of those games, so you want to get some wins early, and hopefully in that tough stretch, we can at least win, you know 2 games, man, because any win against those teams would be a quality win.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it'll be tough. Anything you want to say about that kind of rough stretch of 5 or 6 road games?
Man, you just gotta hope that the guys that you want to watch are gonna be playing a lot of minutes because yeah, it's gonna be a very rough first month for the Rockets. I mean, you're gonna catch one or two on maybe slacking, but really I'm expecting to probably go on what a if we can get a win over OKC, it would be a possibly one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight game losing streak. Which I mean,
Yeah,
we weren't really strangers to that from last year, but you don't want to see that this year. You kind of want to see some kind of improvement. So
for sure.
maybe catching like a Golden State slip in or something. Um,
Yeah,
maybe a Phoenix and
maybe
a lot of the
Phoenix. Yeah,
yeah. And look at that, you have it's a five game road trip.
yeah,
That's insane.
yeah. That is insane. It seems like every offseason the NBA the scheduling is a topic, and it's like then the fucking schedule comes out, and you still see this kind of ridiculous spurts of games. But
Yeah,
whatever.
that's the thing about like playing game at like back to back games and stuff is they kind of want to knock out that road trip. So say we're going that's all on the West Coast. Kind of just you
Yeah,
knock out that West Coast trip out, which is just rough on the team, but it's also a great learning experience for the rookies to get out there and get on the road for
exactly.
5 days or 5 games.
With everyone healthy too, since it's
Yeah,
early on.
exactly. The only person I believe will be out is John Wall at the moment. That's all I can find.
Okay.
John Wall is out, and there's also we all know that the trade is being probably pursued, but who knows when that will happen.
Imminent.
Yeah, hopefully it will happen soon. I would like for it to happen. Nothing against John
Yeah.
Wall. I love John Wall. It's just contract things, and we kind of want to go more towards the younger side.
Yeah.
Um, I think John Wall and Eric Gordon, like we had talked about in the last show, deserve to be on winning teams that can compete and possibly get up there. So hopefully we can get rid of those two contracts and you can really give KPJ and Jalen Green kind of the reins. Let them take control of the team for the season and see how that works.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And I think kind of like Daniel House is, he's on that he's the mid ground between the veterans and the rookies. So like I think with him it'll depend on how much he buys in. If he still wants to be a Rocket, if he's believing in Coach Stylus's systems, too many S's. It'll be, why not keep him? Why not let him get his run? But if it's not something he wants, then we might as well move on from Gordon and all of these guys from Gordon, from Wall, and from House, if that's what it takes to get some young talent in. But anyways, November 10th, we do have a game against Detroit. It's going to be on ESPN. We do have three games on NBA TV, but we have one game on ESPN. Um, so you can say that's our only nationally televised game. Alec, what do you think about our only ESPN game being against Detroit on a Wednesday?
You gotta get it in. The only reason it is because it's early. Cade and Jalen will be perfectly healthy, so we get the battle of the one versus the two pick. Other than that, I mean, that's the only reason we're getting an ESPN game. They're just really not expecting us to do anything, which is fine. I kind of understand. It is what it is, but hopefully we can start changing their minds throughout the rest of the season. Where you're like,
Yeah,
they want to see KPJ, they want to see Christian Wood, you want to see Jalen Green on TV. I think that'll eventually happen, because it was already kind of starting to happen with KPJ last year. Everyone was talking about the 50 piece that he put on, how he was I think he was the youngest player to do it. To have a 50 point or a couple of 50-point games. Since LeBron, which is pretty awesome. So I think KPJ is on the rise to becoming that. I think he'll be the future
yeah,
star while we're waiting for Jalen Green to grow a little bit. And who knows? Maybe we'll get someone to we'll get a extra game, say so like future playoff teams get hurt, and they're like, oh, we got to replace this game. You never know.
Yeah, man. I would really love if we had a Brooklyn matchup. Um, I know Brooklyn is probably has like 30 games on national TV, so I
Mm-hmm.
think one of them in Houston would be awesome. Because we played them last year, but it was kind of a COVID year. We didn't exactly get that true fan reaction about James Harden coming back.
Yeah,
So,
and he
I,
wasn't even healthy.
yeah, exactly.
So
So let's make that matchup happen. Let's put Harden in a respectfully hostile environment, if
mm-hmm.
that even makes sense. I
Yeah,
think Rockets fans weren't exactly able to get their piece about that. So that's if I could pitch a story to ESPN, it'd be to cover that game. But yeah, we'll see.
yeah, that'd be awesome too, man. So let's go ahead and go ahead and give who do we think will be the MVP of the week for the Rockets? I mean, who do you think the matchups will kind of be in favor to?
Yeah, man. It you know it's a tough one because well, for me, the debate is really between Jalen Green and Porter Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good thing, right? Like to me, those are our two best players, and we want them both to excel. But I'm gonna lean towards Jalen Green to get things going. Mainly because I like his matchups a little bit more. Like I don't really see like I see Tatum and or Jalen Brown switching more onto Porter Jr. in the Boston matchup. OKC, who knows what type of rotation they'll throw at him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Minnesota is just sort of Anthony Edwards. So he'll be tested, but I think he's going to have a little bit more room to breathe compared to that road stretch where I would expect Porter Jr. to step up a little bit more. But yeah, it's a toss up. But if I had to pick anybody, I think Jalen Green will get off to a good start, at least for the first week.
Okay, I'm gonna actually go KPJ. I'm gonna say
Okay.
KPJ would be the will kind of get things started. I think he's kind of hit that stride. He figured out what like he's starting to feel what he was kind of seen as having when he was first drafted. All that potential. I think he's starting to see that become realized, and I think he's gonna have a good start to the season. You kind of get a chance to. There's no like I said, Minnesota and and why am I blanking? OKC.
Okay. See.
You know,
Yeah.
I think KPJ could really handle, especially if they're putting KPJ at the two and Jalen at the one, or vice versa. The
Yeah.
only like
We have to see that.
I kind of see KPJ having a better time against like SGA and possibly Jalen Brown against Boston.
Right.
And I think Anthony Edwards is someone who he's young himself. Like this is going to be his third year or second year. Sorry, second year.
Second.
Yeah, he was up for rookie of the year last year. If I'm not
Right.
mistaken.
Right. You're right.
So yeah, he's a young kid too, and I think KPJ could take advantage of that. I think we're gonna see some sea legs from Jalen Green in the first couple games. Not that he can't handle the pressure, but just with all this media that's on him, all this attention that's on him, he might struggle for a little bit just in the beginning. And Christian Wood, I want to see Christian Wood after his injury. How does he look coming off that injury?
Yeah, man. I think just to rant on Seawood for like a minute is I think Rockets fans want to root for Seawood. I think they will root for him, but we definitely have a level of expectation for Seawood now. We want to kind of see him at least at the minimum get back to form his first year when he was here, right? Just kind of getting buckets, getting rebounds. That was pretty big for Seawood, and I kind of saw like I saw Seawood beefing with like some of the fans on Twitter and things like that. And I'm not sure where his head's at, man. And shit, man. I want Rockets fans to support him. I hope he has a great year, man, because we really need him to.
Yeah, man. It's weird because like I didn't realize how many people were like really for trading him when like the talks were
Yeah.
talked about. Like a lot of people were perfectly fine with trading Seawood, and to me, like besides KPJ, like Seawood was the guy to watch last year. So like to see how many people were willing to give up on him already in the first year here in Houston, whereas I think he's really embraced Houston. We've sent like tweets of his
Yeah,
where he's like talking about how much he loves Houston, he wants to stay.
he chose to be here.
Yeah, exactly. Like everyone else was traded. John Wall was traded here. Obviously, Eric Gordon and Harden and all those guys came from like we're already on here. We're already here and ready to kind of get out of here. But Christian Wood through all that mess saw the Rockets and said that's where I want to play. Obviously, it was probably on the back of him wanting to play with Harden. But when that question was posed to him, he answered it perfectly, saying like he still wants to be here. So
Yeah,
I never understood why people are ready to trade him. Like, we have a nice center, we have a
yeah.
up and coming guard, and then we have a second guard who we're hoping can make that jump to the elite level. So kind of where do you want to trade like a really big piece that sometimes is really hard to get.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely not for trading him. I don't really know who you would trade him for. Like it to me, it would have to be a very attractive package where we're getting talent that's better than him, and
Like
anything
three
better.
firsts, something like that.
Yeah, like three firsts or an all star. Like I don't know who's trading away an all star, but whatever. Like I'm rooting for Seawood, but like I think he definitely is. Not for me, but for him, I feel like this is kind of like a put up or shut up type of year. Like he really needs to prove
Mm-hmm.
that he's about it. He needs to force his will a little bit, be physical. That's kind of what I want to see out of him this year. At least making an impact. Um, and a big part of this too is just injuries in general, man. Like we got to hope Jalen Green stays healthy, obviously, and we have C Wood that we need to stay healthy. Some of the other guys I'm not as concerned with. Gordon. Hopefully, we're moving away, but um, I definitely don't want to see like two of our most talented players be hurt this year. I want
Right.
to see them play as many games as possible. So that's a big like question mark, and I think it's the difference between us being like a play-in team versus a bottom five team.
Yeah, for sure. I was just gonna say that the one thing I want to see from Christian Wood is a healthy season. That's like that's the number one thing I want to see. No injuries, at least no serious injuries that take him out for months, like what happened last year. Because we know if he's healthy, we saw last year he can be an all star. I believe
Yeah,
he was on his way to an all star season before he got hurt, right before all star voting began. So
yep,
yeah, man, I want to see a healthy season, and I want to see an all star season from him. I think he's good enough to do it. Um, the bad thing though is that you're on the Rockets, so you have to kind of
yeah,
be extraordinary. Like you have to be like way more, do a little bit more because even though we are a big market, we're seen right now as a lower tier team. So people aren't going to be paying attention to us. People aren't really going to be paying attention to KPJ and Christian Wood like they're going to be paying attention to Jalen Green because you know how it is with rookies. Everyone wants to see how they're doing. Um,
yeah.
you want to watch a rookie play, but like once you hit that second season or a couple seasons in, you're kind of put to the side. So I'm hoping that he can stand out and become an all star because that would be awesome for him and for us, and maybe hopefully get the rest of the city on board, which I still don't understand why they're not on board. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, man. I think Rockets fans have to realize their future is way brighter this year than it was at the start of last year.
Absolutely.
And that that might sound general or obvious, but I'm saying think about like Harden being your leader with only about maybe 5 years left in the tank versus now having a young core of Porter Jr., C Wood, and Jalen Green
Mm-hmm.
that can last 10 to 12 years if managed correctly. I feel so much better about this team than I did that last year with Harden. So I'm excited, man. I think if you're not on board and you're a Rockets fan, you should try and get on board because it, dude, this is the best time to watch a team. This time, and then obviously when they're a championship contender
Yeah.
is exciting. But the journey is could be really fulfilling if these guys pan out the way they should.
let's go ahead and we've gotten kind of deep into the Rockets. If you had to pick a record for them at the end of the week for these 3 games, where you going? What's your record looking like?
I'm gonna go 2-1. Like I think Minnesota's a tough one, but I mean Minnesota's been one of the worst teams over the past 3 or 4 years. So I don't see any reason to pick them over the Rockets. OKC, I think that's one you gotta, you might have some trouble from one of the veterans on that team. I can't even tell you who, but still, regardless, I think it's one you have to win on the shoulders of a Porter Jr. and a C Wood. And then Boston, I'm not expecting our guys to have that cohesiveness yet, so I could see us dropping that one. So 2-1 is kind of my record after the first week that I'm expecting.
All right, man. I think I'm gonna lean 1-2, and I think because starting away, starting in Minnesota, I think it's gonna be tough on these guys. So I'm gonna lean 1-2. Us getting the 1 win against OKC. I think that's the home opener. Everyone's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Jalen Green's gonna get a really big ovation. So I think that we're gonna get that home opener, but that might be it for a while. Personally, I'm hoping.
Okay.
I'm hoping I'm wrong. That'd be great. We can start 2-1 or maybe 3-0. But right now, I just like I don't know, man. I want to see how Steven Silas and the rest of the team is like kind of gelling. It's a lot of new pieces. Um,
Definitely.
so you got to kind of find your footing. So I'm gonna go 1-2. Before we
All
get
right.
to NBA awards predictions, let's talk Ben Simmons, man. What has been going on with Ben Simmons? What is going? Actually, I'm gonna rephrase that question. What is going on with Daryl Morey, and why is he allowing this to get as bad as he is? Because this is getting really bad. Like this is probably worse than how we handled James Harden.
Well, I think I'll start with Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey did some kind of like weird things when he got to Philadelphia. Like he got some shooters there, and it seemed like he was already like up to his same old. But when Morey started acting weird was around the Harden trade rumor part of last year, and like I remember him like um there was rumors about Ben Simmons about to be traded, but he was liking Ben Simmons tweets and just doing weird shit like that, man. And I feel like it's like you could tell he was active, he was behind the scenes because his name was constantly coming up. But I think maybe the Harden trade just fell through. Maybe it didn't work out for him, and Daryl Morey took a different approach of okay, didn't work out, but Ben Simmons is my guy. I still love this roster, and I think he convinced himself. Got to the playoffs. Obviously, they realized Ben Simmons has a lot of flaws in his game, and it's probably not going to complement the team going forward. So I think at that point, Daryl Morey, just kind of changed his mind. Is the lightest way I can put it. I think Daryl Morey changed his mind on Ben Simmons after the playoffs, and he wanted to move on. I think Ben Simmons was probably given the cold shoulder a lot through the offseason. All the fans have clowned on Ben Simmons, by the way. So this guy isn't super high on confidence right now. And then starting this season, Ben didn't even want to show up. He didn't want to play. But he was losing a lot of money, and he came back to committed to coming back to practice. They interviewed Doc. Doc said, "Yeah, I think Woj said something." So Doc was out the circle right there. These guys are finding out from Woj, just like the rest of us, about when Ben is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So long story short, I think there's just tension on both sides. I don't think the Sixers want Ben Simmons there. I don't think Ben Simmons wants to be there. So he came to practice and he was just pissed off. I think this is less a Kobe or a Jimmy Butler practice story. And I think this is more just, him kind of feeling like, screw my coworkers. I don't care about this job anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, I think I think Daryl Morey needs to find a trade fast, but knowing him, he wants to be a shark and he wants to win the trade. So I think that's what's throwing a wrench in this is not being able to find the trade package that he wants, and basically him telling Doc and the rest of the team, you guys have to deal with it until I can work it out.
Yeah, man. It's crazy, dude. Because like before the play, like I said, before the playoffs, before everything, before the Harden trade went down, people were talking about a straight up trade, Harden for Ben Simmons,
Yep.
and that was one that like I didn't necessarily love. I didn't necessarily love, but I like Ben Simmons. I think he's really good at what he does, and I think the whole season that we were doing the podcast, I was like praising Doc Rivers for allowing Ben Simmons to kind of be his own player, and we were kind of getting away from the whole like, oh,
Yeah.
Ben Simmons can't shoot narrative, and then the playoffs happened, right? The playoffs happen, and you just see him go cold, and I think that's when when you have a 7 game series, you automatically have a magnifying glass on you for the
Mhm.
team that you're playing.
Exactly.
You have at least 4 games with the same team, so you're doing nothing uh, but you know studying the team and finding ways to take advantage of matchups, and they really exposed Ben Simmons way more than I think even we thought before, and it
Right.
all came down to that one pass up on a dunk, on a very easy
Yeah.
dunk against the Atlanta Hawks that kind of
Right.
just sealed it for people. Where even I said it, like he's so like under like the moment's gone past him so badly that he's even passing up open dunks. He's passing up
Right.
easy layups where before he would yam that. he would slam that home, man, and now it's just his confidence is so shook, and that's the thing that people are scared of. The teams are scared of. Why Daryl Morey's not going to get the trade package he wants is because of the whole playoffs fiasco. He probably should have traded him beforehand. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's like he had to have thought about. I didn't even consider this, but like when he left, he must have thought he had like an extra what's it called an extra leg up, I guess, on the rest of the competition to land James Harden because he was the former GM, which obviously Fertitta had other plans. So yeah, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel bad for Ben Simmons. I really do. But at the same time, like, he's got to. We all know what it's like, right? To work at a job where you're just kind of done with your coworkers, you're done with your boss, and it just gets hard
Yeah.
to go to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wake up and
Yeah.
you're just like, "Oh, I don't want to go to this place, and it seems like that's what happened today. Maybe
Right.
it wasn't the first time because Doc Rivers. I don't think Doc Rivers would have suspended him if this was a one-time thing. Like this must have been like a couple days thing. He just showed up to practice late or whatever, or just kind of like not wanting to do anything. And Doc Rivers finally just said he had enough. This is definitely. But I bet you anything, Daryl Morey is called Doc Rivers and was like, man, like you're not helping the situation right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, not to mention, I mean, to piss off Doc Rivers, bro, like you're talking about Doc Rivers who coached Paul George, who
Mm-hmm.
apparently cheated on his daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like this man's had the tolerance to look this adult in the eye and still be professional. So whatever Ben Simmons did, it must have really crossed the line for Doc, because I can't remember Doc doing anything like this with a player. It's shock. Doc is a player's coach. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, man. I think the Sixers. It's like as soon as you thought they were getting good, this happened. So I think they need to move him as soon as possible, man. And for Ben, I mean, look, man, if you want to play your game, that's fine. If you want to stick to what you know, that's fine. But just don't expect to do it on a contender. I think if you're Ben, you have to settle for whatever team will take you, and that includes some of the worst teams in the NBA because, maybe like the Magic could be a good landing spot for him. Like, I'm really not trying to be dramatic. I'm just saying if you have unwillingness to change, what can I say, man? That's the type of options you're gonna have because a playoff contender, a championship contender is not going to accept that type of mentality into their locker room. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree 100%. And the thing is, man, it, where he lands is kind of dependent on what he does in the beginning of the season. But you have to get to the beginning of the season first. Like you have to go through these
yeah,
practices. Like I wasn't defending Ben Simmons when I said we've all had those jobs where you don't want to go to work. Like that's not a defensive of Ben Simmons. The lesson there is we may feel like that, but we still got to get up and go to work. Like
yeah,
you gotta go do what you gotta do. And right now, I think the best thing for him to do is to go out there and ball the hell out. You know, like go out there,
exactly,
ball
bro.
out, and make everyone like remember who you are. You're Ben Simmons. You were at one point projected to be the next LeBron James. You're not might not be that now, but you could be one of the top defensive players in the league. And
Right,
you just got to go out there and get it. And right now, he's not thinking long term. He's not thinking
exactly,
where
man.
he can land. He's thinking about I'm hurt, my feelings hurt, I'm upset, and he has every right. I'm not saying he has no right to feel that way. He has every right to feel like this team betrayed him, like the city of Philadelphia completely turned their backs on them. Like I understand that, but if you want to continue playing in this league at the highest level, you have to put in the work and just and get back in the gym and just work out, man. Because this is not going to turn out good.
Yeah,
He's
bro.
gonna like you said he's gonna end up on a bottom team because that's gonna be the only teams that want to deal with him, and the only way to get them is to get like if you want Daryl Morey's price tag, you probably have to give up like 4 to 5, maybe 6 first round picks, and I don't know any rebuilding team that wants to get rid of that. You know?
Yeah, yeah, and you know, it's not a good start. It even makes me wonder if this is his attitude now. How many years was Ben Simmons holding back Joel Embiid?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you replace Ben Simmons with, say, a John Wall, would that have been a way better fit with Joel Embiid, right? So, I think there's a couple of disgruntled stars in this league. There's Ben Simmons, there's Kyrie Irving, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
just throwing it out there, we have a trade piece in John Wall. We could always work something out.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and get our man David's take on this. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Nothing much. We're talking Ben Simmons about what's going on over there and how it's just kind of blowing up out of proportion. But you brought up a great point. Kyrie, that's kind of the only guy that has a worse reputation than Ben Simmons at the moment is Kyrie Irving, who has been basically being told by the Brooklyn Nets to just stay home. Don't worry about coming to work. So, you know, maybe that's possible. But David, what's your assessment of the entire situation going on with Ben Simmons?
Well, with Ben Simmons, I just feel like he's just going about it like unprofessionally. I think that's like the hard equation. Like, I have a feeling like it's becoming a trend of our stars in the league to
Yeah.
like feel a certain type of way and want to part ways. But I feel like he's letting a lot of emotion go into his whole like business side of it, and I just feel like he's definitely like within the team. And as for his suspension and everything, I have a feeling the 76ers are kind of like making it out on him and like trying to get the media to like side against him, make him a scapegoat in some type of way, just to make it a little bit more, take a lot of the attention away from them, make it kind of discredit him a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely feel like both parts are just in the wrong.
Yeah.
It's like a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point because like I was just telling Alec like how Doc Rivers was saying he found out Ben Simmons was coming back through Woj. So I could easily see like Daryl Morey, telling Woj, "Hey, we need some reporting in this way. I'm going to tell you my trades this season, of course." Blah blah blah. Yeah, you got to be careful what's in the media, whose side they're on, who really knows. But either way, man, it's looking like a dumpster fire there. I hope they get that guy Ben Simmons out of Philly
Yep,
quick,
sure
man.
is.
Yeah, man. I think he needs. I'm hoping he gets the right people around him, man. Because I think he needs someone to really like be the bad guy with like in his circle. Like tell him like, hey man, I know you don't like the situation that's going on, but get in there, ball out, get on a team that you want to get on. Because if he starts to go out there and show like and have like say another defensive player of the year season from the beginning, um, I think that if you have someone in front in your circle that can be like, hey, I need you just gotta go in there, just suck it up and ball out, and you get on the team that you want to be on, man. It's definitely possible.
What do you guys think about Kyrie's situation? Because David, like you mentioned, it's kind of like two companies. The 76ers, Ben Simmons would like to quit them, and they would like to quit him, and they're both just being petty. Versus the Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie's chose to go there. The front office supports him, even though he's being a headache. Just want to get you guys' thoughts on the Kyrie situation.
Go ahead, David.
I feel like in the Kyrie situation, it's hard to say because I feel like a lot of like the New York law is like taking a big effect on his whole eligibility. Like, I'm not too sure if what I'm gonna say is accurate, but I feel like if he was in Texas, he'd be able to play home games just off of like his vaccination status. Like if he didn't decide to play, but I also feel like he's just a little unreliable, and like he's shown in the past like 4 years, he is somewhat of a part-time player, and it's not a knock on him. It's just like when you watch him, he's amazing. He's easily in the top conversation for point guards in our current NBA. But I just hope he gets to where he needs to be in life so we can see some good basketball out of him.
Yeah, man. Sorry. Yeah, man. The thing with Kyrie, man, it's kind of frustrating, and I can only assume that it's just as frustrating for the fans because they do want to see Kyrie play. Like he was a big reason for for the signing of KD. Sorry, I just got distracted by a Bellinger home run. I'm so sorry. Bellinger just tied the game up. But yeah, I mean, you have to be. It's definitely frustrating from a from a fan's perspective. You're one of your top three guys. He can't play because of a kind of a stubbornness to get the vaccine. Which we're not going to get political. I mean, I don't think vaccines should be political, but it is what it is. But he's making his choice, and he has every right to make his choice, and I have no problem with that. But kind of where my frustration is coming from is him saying that it's not because he's an anti-vaxxer. He's kind of like denying it, and he's using his like weird backwards logic to explain why he doesn't want to get the vaccine when his entire argument sounds anti-vaxxer. And if you're an anti-vaxxer, that's perfectly fine, man. But you can't expect to play in the NBA, especially in New York. New York was one of the cities that was the first to really shut its streets down. They did not hesitate, especially after the huge climb and fatalities they had in New York. So to think you can go there and still play, I think the kind of responsible thing to do would to be, if you don't want to get vaccinated, then he needs to He should have chosen to step away from the team instead of the front office making that decision. But I don't know, just do whatever he can to either get a trade or to get back with the team. It's one of the two, man.
Here's my proposition. I think we should trade John Wall for Kyrie. We'll allow him to play home games only, be our sixth man, and just kind of show up and close games for us. That's my proposition to you, Kyrie.
The thing is, if he could have came to Houston. Like I think that if he would have been like okay with the James Harden trade, he could be here right now. Last year for James Harden.
Yeah.
But now it's probably going to be for John Wall because you can't. If you're Brooklyn, you can't really ask for much because your hands are kind of tied. He can't. It's not like you're like. It's not like he's holding out. He legally cannot play with your team.
Right. I think it's all good for about like 20 games, and then at that point you have to move on if you're Brooklyn.
Yeah, and I think that the fact that they said that they're open to, I mean that they're keeping him home and like not letting him be a part of the team. To me, that shows that James Harden and KD are on the side of the front office. I don't think that they would have made this move without the okay from at least KD, possibly even Harden as well. So that means that they might be already done with Kyrie's kind of antics. They already did miss him for, what was it, 2 weeks last year, where he just like disappeared off the face of the earth and didn't appear, didn't call. Where we work, that's a no call, no show. That's an instant termination. That's in my opinion. So I think that they are probably ready to move on from him. If the team starts to suffer because of it, we'll give them even more reason to get rid of him.
So you're making me want to root against the Nets now, just for the story.
Why not? I'd be perfectly fine with Kyrie. I don't have a hatred of anti-vaxxers. I'm personally vaccinated, but if you're anti-vax, I don't care, man. That doesn't affect me, like personally. I don't think you're a lesser human being for it. It makes me like maybe look at you a little sideways, but it's not gonna make me think that you're not a good person. So he's more than welcome to come over here. And the thing is, he would only have to miss New York, and I think possibly LA or California, because I know Andrew Wiggins also had to get vaccinated.
Yeah, man. Exactly. Like Kyrie just needs the type of environment that'll let him come and go as he pleases, and he'll thrive.
Yeah, I mean, he's like,
bro. We just like he should talk to James Harden about us, and we literally let James Harden be at the strip club like 5 days out of the week.
Yeah, man. He wants the Dennis Rodman treatment. He wants to just like go do whatever he wants to do, which is, I mean, I don't really care, man. You're a grown man. It doesn't seem to affect us on the court because even though he missed them 2 weeks, he still showed up and kept balling out. Like maybe he doesn't need to practice, All right, but let's go ahead and.
I do think it's half the championship run though.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I do think his him not being there is going to have an effect on them having a championship run.
Oh yeah.
I just don't see them being a team like or just doing the extra step for their team if they have like one of their leaders kind of just like sitting out or
man.
That's another and it's an internal problem that they're going to have.
Yeah, I agree. If they have to be in trade mode, and at that point, how much can you really get for him? We don't know. And I kind of agree. I saw someone say that Kyrie's kind of painted himself into a corner because he's been he's been so adamant about not getting the vaccine for so long now. If he finally does get it, people will be like, well, what was all this for? Why did we go through this? But then at the same time, if he doesn't, then he looks like he doesn't care about his team, that he doesn't care about winning, and that can be worse than like a crime allegation to an athlete, because all of a sudden everyone's questioning whether you actually care about the sport and looking at your every move. So man, I don't know, man, it's so weird. I don't know what the what the fallout's going to be. I don't know what the solution is, but hopefully it gets solved soon.
Yeah, man. I don't. I think if you really are committed to a championship, like it sounds extreme. I guess it could sound extreme, but if you're really committed to a championship, like bro, just take the shot. Like if championships matter to you more than anything else, and this is your prime to win it in the next 3 years, hey man, you got to go for it. Because okay, say you have some long term. Not trying to get on the tangent of vaccines, but say something goes wrong with the vaccine in 10 years, okay, whatever, you deal with it then. But if you're really committed to winning right now, I mean, is there a question about doing it, dude? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, and you can just say that just about in vaccines in general. Like if you don't get the vaccine because of what you're afraid of what it might do, I mean, you might not. If you don't get the vaccine, you might not be here in 10 years to find out what the vaccine, what the like repercussions of the vaccine are. So
Yeah, man.
that's just my personal opinion on the vaccination. And Kyrie, just get the shot so we can see y'all, man. Like we want to see the. I mean, as much as I don't want to see them win, I do want to see all three of them playing. Harden, KD, and Kyrie. I think it is good for the sport to see those guys on the all on the court at the same time. But David, before we go ahead and do our predictions for MVP NBA awards, I want to go ahead and get your thoughts on. We have 3 games. The Rockets have 3 games. They have Timberwolves, OKC, and Boston in that order. I believe it is only one back-to-back. It is the. Oh no, there's no back-to-back. Sorry, it's Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. So no back-to-backs. What do you see the record looking like, and who's going to be your MVP of the week?
Sorry, what was that? You wanted my prediction on if they're gonna win, or
How many games do you think they're going to win this week between in the games between Minnesota, OKC, and Boston, and who do you think will be your MVP of the week?
So I think they're gonna lose the first game.
Okay.
I think Jalen Green's gonna need a pretty big learning curve.
Yeah.
Before really win, and I know they want him to be a major leader for the team. Yeah, sorry, I got a little one right here.
It's all good. Don't worry.
Hey.
Other than that, the Minnesota game, I think against OKC it'll be a close game.
Yeah.
I can see them winning against OKC. Boston, I'll probably say I say they're going to take another loss. Honestly, on the season, I think going for 25 wins is kind of like a positive thing.
All right, man. All right, for sure. Who do you have as like being your standout performer for the week?
For the week?
Yeah, for these 3 games.
Man. And I think Giannis is just gonna have a really good season.
I'm sorry, who?
Giannis.
Oh, I just mean for the Rockets right now.
For the Rockets,
who's
I think Şengün.
Şengün.
Yeah, okay. I've been really liking Şengün's game. I feel like he's just a really good passer. He's gonna like. So I was talking to one of my coworkers about it earlier about the differences between Şengün, Christian Wood, and Daniel Tice, and the thing that I see among all 3 of them that Şengün does a little bit better than all of them is just his mobility. Like he's just constantly moving. He's setting screens. He's sacrificing his body. He's really good in blocking. So I think he's gonna do a lot of the little things that we like that just is winning basketball. And I kind of see him making a better case at taking that starting role. He's going to mess up a lot more as the season progresses.
Yeah, I think if he's like a healthy player, the sky's the limit for him, man. Like, I think he'll get a lot of minutes. I think he'll be featured in the rotation, and he kind of reminds me of just like some combination of like a Scola and a Steven Adams, like kind of annoying on defense, um, physical in some ways, and on the offensive end, like he's more about like position and scoring, sort of how Scola was. You know, not as many like
Yeah,
tricks in his bag, but that's just kind of what he reminds me of. Those two.
yeah. I feel like
Oops, sorry about that.
when it comes to Sengun, I feel like position defense is like a major thing he does. Like just like being at the right spot
Yeah,
on defense and using his like size rather than using his athleticism. I just think that's something that's he's gonna be doing. It's not gonna be as flattering as like watching like a Garuba chase down block or something, but I think it's just gonna be a little bit more consistent. And it's just gonna be a like we're gonna start seeing him be a valuable Rocket.
hell yeah, man. All right, looks like Alex a bit preoccupied. So, the second half of the show, kind of our goal is we're gonna just run through some of the NBA awards. We're gonna talk MVP, Most Improved, maybe Sixth Man of the Year. I think Alec is gonna kind of go through who has the odds to do it, but we're gonna kind of pick who we could potentially see, winning these awards as well. So we'll go ahead and get into that soon. If you guys haven't already, this is probably a good time. You can follow us all on Instagram or Twitter. Find me at PL Trinidad on Instagram. David, if you want to let us know your Instagram so people listening to this can find you, you can do that now.
My Instagram it's Cruzin. It's CRUZIN_dirty DIRTY. Just
yeah. Hell yeah, you still got that one. That's what's up. Yeah, I'm trying to change my branding to Podcast Paul. I'm trying to switch that up soon. So hell yeah, man. That's what's up, bro. Well, we definitely I'm sure Alec will be back soon, but we definitely should try and catch a game, bro, in H-Town sometime soon.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm definitely down. Me and my wife, we're gonna try to go to the U of H game actually this week. I think it's for the homecoming game.
For football or basketball?
For college football, and then for basketball, the games that I had on my radar were that Nets game.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see the Lakers, man.
Shit, why not?
They're pretty cool. They got like 5 Hall of Famers.
Yeah, bro, and like I mean, I was talking to my barber about this because like Avery Bradley is going back on the squad, and I was just like, man, that's like the perfect situation for him. Like he's playing behind Rondo and Russell Westbrook, like. And you're already a defensive veteran, like you can't really lose in that rotation, man. So, yeah, man, they're going to be stacked, bro. I think like one thing I didn't mention about the Kyrie thing is I feel like even the Kyrie thing, I think that gives more of an edge to the Lakers for championship contention. So, there's that too.
Sorry about that. I have my own kid stuff to deal with.
It's all good, brother.
Yeah.
I think we're ready to run through the awards if you are.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and do the awards. So I'm gonna go ahead and go from I guess least important to most important. I have the odds, and I just want y'all to say who you think is gonna win that award and why. So we'll start with Coach of the Year, and I'll go in order of like least favorite to most favorite to least favored. So you have Steve Nash for the Nets, Spoelstra for the Heat. Billy Donovan for the Bulls, Quinn Snyder for Utah, Steve Kerr for Golden State, Monty Williams for Phoenix, Frank Vogel for the Lakers, and Nate McMillan for Atlanta. We'll go ahead and start with Paul, and then go around, and I'll be right back. I gotta do more.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to say with Coach of the Year because it's not exactly the best team's coach that always wins. It's kind of just someone who makes like an impact on a new team a lot of the times, who has like tremendous success. So last year it was Monty Williams, right? Do I have that right, David? Let me double check.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right on that.
Okay. So for me, I kind of see it, and this is under the assumption that the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be very good again. I'm actually going to take Mike Budenholzer. So I think it's, unless there's a team that just has a tremendous upside, I'm going to take kind of the unsexy pick with Budenholzer. I think the Bucks are going to be really good again, and I think the media is going to kind of side with Budenholzer, and maybe it's a little overdue. So that's kind of why I'm leaning towards him. But yeah, I'll pass it to you now, David. Cruising dirty.
um, you know, I think I think there's a part of me that thinks Frank Vogel's going to win it, just because of a lot of like the politics
Yeah,
in the award.
yeah,
But my dark horse for this award is going to be Nate McMillan of the Hawks. I just I think I think they're poised to do a little bit better than they did last year. The two rookies that they drafted are, in my opinion, going to be they're perfect for what they needed. They needed a small forward that's athletic. They got Jalen Johnson. They needed a backup to Trey Young. They got Sharif Cooper. Like I think they hit
yeah,
a lot of the things they missed in the playoffs last year, and I'm definitely expecting another good year from Cam Reddish. Uh,
yeah.
uh, so as long as they can get hot in the at some point in the season, I see Nate McMillan making a run for that award.
Yeah, I mean they were what, number 5 last year? Like if they could get top 3, I could easily see that being like realistic, cuz I mean, yeah, dude, like it's usually that team that just goes over the hump and like their coach gets a lot of praise. It's kind of a weird award. Like, I mean, I remember like when Mike D'Antoni won it, with the Rockets, even though like the Warriors were like the better team, it he deserved it, but it was just kind of weird. Like, what are you guys judging this on? Like Dwayne Casey, like remember when Dwayne Casey won it for the Raptors and they got fired?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It could be any of these guys, but I mean, like honestly, it could be Doc Rivers if like Ben Simmons decides to stay and like they have like a top three a top three team. Like they're gonna be talking about how Doc Rivers navigated through this whole like turmoil, this whole Ben Simmons situation, and I see
Yeah.
I see the same thing for like Steve Nash. Like it's one of those type of awards, but I mean,
I feel like they're dying to give it to Steve Nash. Like if he has like a 1 seed finish, like I think they're gonna give it to him. But
did
you
you
know,
say Steve Nash to or
yeah, like I think like for Steve Nash is like they couldn't give it to him out the gate because it was his first year. But I think the media would love to give it to Steve Nash.
Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry about that. A bathroom emergency happened. I got
All
all
good.
set up though. He's
oh
good.
good man?
Yeah. So who did y'all pick? I'm sorry.
So I took an unsexy pick and I went back to Mike Budenholzer because I think the Bucks are gonna have a good year.
Okay.
And David, if you want to reannounce yours again.
I said my politically correct pick is going to be Frank Vogel, but my dark horse pick is going to be Nate McMillan.
I like that. I like that. I think my pick is gonna be. I think I'm gonna go Monty Williams. I really like Monty Williams. Um, if he can get DeAndre Ayton playing with everything that he's got, even after not giving him the contract that he wants, he deserves a medal or something. On top of the fact that I think they're going to be a top team this year again. I don't think they're gonna fall off that much. Um, an interesting pick, an interesting like favorite, I think is Billy Donovan. It's so weird like to see a Chicago head coach as I believe he has the fourth best or third best odds to win the coach of the year. It's kind of crazy, but who knows? It could be that's something that could possibly happen. I know the
Yeah, if Billy Donovan doesn't win it, then I think their GM is going to be in the running for like executive of the year because
yes,
what they did in the last year is pretty impressive.
I'll agree with that one. He's got to win. He would have to be up there for sure. All right, let's go ahead and get some most improved odds. So we have with in order. In order, we have SGA from Oklahoma City, Zion Williamson, obviously from the Pelicans, MPJ, Michael Porter Jr. from Denver, KPJ, Kevin Porter Jr. from Houston, Zach LaVine, Colin Sexton, Christian Wood, Jarrett Jackson Jr., Jalen Brown, John Collins, Chris Boucher, and De'Aaron Fox. We'll go ahead and start with you, David, this time. Who do you have as your favorite? It doesn't have to be listed.
My favorite's going to be Kevin Porter Jr. I think he's just really asking a lot of him. He got the keys to the franchise right now. I also have, I think Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is also going to be a really good player to watch, but I don't think he's going to have as great of an improvement as KPJ. I just think KPJ is going to make a bigger leap as they were from last year.
Yeah, I think for me is like first of all, I agree. Like I think it's got to be Porter Jr. The person I would love to win it would be Christian Wood because I feel like that would mean we're back. But yeah, like I think Porter Jr. is more prime for it. Like he got a taste last season, but this could really be like a bounce back year, putting up like 25 easily. Like David, you said he has the green light. Yeah, I don't really consider it fair if like Jalen Green and De'Aaron Fox are in the running for it. Like, those guys have to me, they're veterans now, and like they've established pretty consistent stat lines. So I hope like people like that aren't included. But yeah, I think Porter Jr.'s got to be the favorite. And like I said, you never know. There could be a dark horse of Ben Simmons getting traded and putting up numbers in Orlando. Watch out. Oh, muted.
Yeah, I
Yo,
KPJ is probably my favorite to win the award. I think that all eyes were on him at the end of the year, and they're going to be on him again. My dark horse, is probably going to be John Collins. I think that I love John Collins. I'm a big fan of his, and I would love for him to kind of break out just as much, if not more, than what Trae Young has. It seems like Capella's kind of getting all the talk behind Trae Young. So I think John Collins, he's the second best player on that team, and he's not nearly talked about as much as that guy. So he would probably be my dark horse because Trae Young. The thing is, like, Trae Young's always going to kind of overshadow you. I agree though with some of these picks of what y'all said, like Zion, Zach LaVine, and De'Aaron Fox really shouldn't be on here. And I would even argue SGA. I think our SGA is kind of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's kind of like proven himself to be the guy, and a top tier talent. So to have those guys on the most improved, I guess maybe they're assuming or they're thinking maybe an all-star level year for them, for either of them, which is definitely possible, but I don't know if that warrants most improved player. And with Christian Wood, I actually disagree with you, Paul. I don't want to see him on most improved because then that means that not everybody sees him as like what we saw last year. I think he was already on his way to an all-star, and I don't need to see if he's gonna improve. He has to become a legit star, not just an all-star. Because I think he is already that, but he has to kind of go out there and prove it. So if he becomes an all-star, he won't necessarily be improved. He'll just be where he's at, where he's supposed to be. But if he becomes like an all-star, or like a superstar, then I'll definitely put it on there. But I don't know. That's not what I necessarily want. All right. Next up, we have Defensive Player of the Year odds. Once again, in order from best odds to worst odds, or least amount of odds. You have Rudy Gobert at the most odds. 1 second, Eli. 1 second. Rudy Gobert. Then you have Ben Simmons, Miles Turner, Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then Bam Adebayo with the least odds. I'll go ahead and start. Immediately, I'm taking Rudy Gobert out. I don't think he deserved it last year. I think Ben Simmons should have won it. I know that's a taboo name to say right now, but I think he deserved Defensive Player of the Year. You shouldn't get Defensive Player of the Year just for being 7 feet tall. Whereas Ben Simmons can defend every position. I think right now I'm leaning Miles Turner. Miles Turner really kind of made me a believer last year. I really like this kid a lot, and he has the potential to be, that top guy over there in Indiana. So I'm gonna go Miles Turner with this one. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, man. I want Miles Turner to win it, obviously, because he was a Longhorn. But, I think a lot of times, like you said, Alec, it's not always a fair award. Like, sometimes it depends on what player's hot, in going into the playoffs, a lot of factors. So if I had to pick, maybe a more big name and someone who I think will be there once again and just kind of under people's skin on defense is going to be Giannis. Because, we're going to see him on national TV against KD, LeBron, and he's going to have good games, man. He's in his prime right now. So, I'm hopeful it's Miles Turner. Miles Turner I think he deserves a lot more props than he gets. He gets dunked on, and he also gets a lot of big blocks because he's not scared of the challenge. Like, he prides himself on defense. And when you're talking about Defensive Player of the Year, like, that's the type of person that I want represented there. Like, I don't want to see somebody who turns away on dunks, somebody who's just playing for the stats. And that's what I like about Miles Turner. So over to you, David.
Man, I like both of those picks. I feel like Miles Turner was leading the league in like blocks for a time last year at the beginning of the season. I remember him having like 5 blocks a game for a little while. I think Giannis is getting the national publicity. Rudy Gobert is still in that conversation, and and Ben Simmons is too. As far as if I had to lock in, I'd probably go with Giannis as well. I just think like he's taking the challenge right now. Like he got his back-to-back MVPs, he got his championship. Like I think he wants to try to make some type of statement that he's the best player in the world. He wants to make his generational debate case. So I just think he's going to take the challenge, and I think that's enough for a lot of the media to give it to him.
Yeah, man, I feel you on that.
Yeah, man. I feel you on that one for sure. Giannis is definitely a favorite. He's definitely up there. All right, let's go 6th man of the year. It's kind of we'll try and go a little bit faster. It kind of be getting late already. Let's go 6th man of the year in order from most favorite to least favorite. You have Jordan Clarkson for Utah, Kevin Huerter from Atlanta, Patty Mills for Brooklyn, Joe Ingles from Utah, Tyrese Halliburton from Sacramento, Goran Dragic from Miami, Kobe White, Chicago, Derrick Rose, Knicks, and Terrence Ross, Orlando. We'll go ahead and start with you, Paul.
Who were the first two again, if you don't mind rereading those?
Jordan Clarkson for Utah and Kevin Huerter from Atlanta, the 3-point shooter.
Okay. So, yeah, man, I think it's an exciting time for 6th man of the year because, like, it's not Eric Gordon or Lou Williams anymore. It's kind of like a lot of younger guys. Um, as far as picking somebody, it's equally as hard for me. So, and it's kind of crazy to think Kobe White is now 6 man because he got a lot of playing time last year. Um, I guess if I had to say like somebody, I'm gonna go with Jordan Clarkson again because like he didn't play good in the playoffs, but in the regular season, he's like a guy almost putting up like 20 points a night. I think he's just gonna have the stats for it, but I'm not like emotional about him losing or anything. I just think I'm coming at it from a logical standpoint of I think he'll be there again.
All right, Dave, you want to go ahead and go? Give your pick.
Yeah, I think Jordan Clarkson was a good pick. Last season he did really good. So I'd probably put him in as a lock for it. But if I'm going with like another option, maybe I might give it a D Rose too.
That's a good one.
I think I like D Rose in that group of players. I mean, he is an MVP. 6 man of the year would be pretty nice. Like, two people have done that if he gets it.
For mine, I'm actually kind of leaning Tyrese Halliburton. That was a guy that I really had my eye on all year long, and it came out of nowhere. The only reason I had my eye on him was because I got him in my fantasy team, so I had no idea who this guy was. Ended up coming out and almost winning Rookie of the Year. I think he's such a great piece to come off the bench for De'Aaron Fox. And I know they will have Davion Mitchell, I believe it is. They drafted him, so it's a possibility he'll still be playing on the bench, which means he'll come off of it, which means he'll probably win 6 man of the year. A sleeper, and this all depends on his attitude being replaced. Goran Dragic. If Goran Dragic decides to accept his role as the now backup point guard for the Miami Heat, there's a very big chance that he might win 6 man of the year.
Yeah, good point.
That's a big if. He has to accept the role, but if anyone can do it, it's definitely Eric Spoelstra that can get him to buy in. So we'll see. But Tyrese Halliburton might be my go-to pick. I feel like Jordan Clarkson, he wins it every year. So Eli Lee Kribula, Jordan Clarkson kind of he's always up there, so there's always a possibility he's gonna win. But another one, it kind of depends on the guy. You have Patty Mills. If Kyrie comes back, he will be playing as the backup point guard. But the thing is, how much of a factor they put in if you're starting most of the games. Would he be allowed to be a 6 man of the year? Because I think if he was coming off the bench, he'd be really good and kind of accept his role there in Brooklyn, especially playing with he's going to be getting a lot of assists from Harden. He'll be dishing out plenty of assists to KD. So I like Patty Mills, but there's a possibility he might be the starting point guard, not the backup point guard. All right, let's go ahead and go to Rookie of the Year. This is the one we kind of got our eyes on, right? And best odds to least, favorite odds. You have Cade Cunningham for the Pistons, Jalen Green from the Rockets, Jalen Suggs for Orlando, Scotty Barnes, Toronto, Evan Mobley, Cleveland, Alperen Sengun from Houston, Davion Mitchell from Sacramento,
Hell yeah,
Jonathan Kuminga from Golden State, and James Bouknight from Charlotte. David, let's get your pick. Who I think we kind of already know your pick, but will you surprise me?
Man, I really like this year's draft class. All those are awesome names. And then I got a lot of good. I see a lot of good players in the next year's draft class too. So I think it's just a good time for basketball. I want to say Jalen Green. I want to say my boy. Yeah, I really love seeing him. I just think there's going to be like a 20-game curve that he's just got to get over. Uh, and then I think we're gonna start seeing like the rookie of the year like start to blossom in him. Um, at the start of the gate, I see I see Davion Mitchell doing really good at the beginning. At the beginning of the season, but I think we're gonna have one of those races where you're gonna get a strong start from Davion, and then Jalen Green is just gonna start. He's just gonna start showing us why he was picked. He's gonna show us why he was so special. Um, but I also think it's just a learning curve with the Rockets as well. Like I just think like they all lack experience, and there's just gonna be a lot of learning, a lot of learning that they're gonna have to go through, and then he's gonna start realizing like mistakes that he can make. And then once he gets comfortable making those mistakes, I feel like he's going to become more comfortable, like doing the good things he's good at, you know? And once he starts realizing that, I feel like that's when he's going to just start like everything he's good at, he's going to try to maximize it. And that's when I think he's going to start realizing his force in the league, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right, Paul, you want to go ahead and give your pick for rookie of the year?
Yeah, man. It's Jalen Green. So
Yeah.
I told myself as well. I was like, well, I tried to think of it more critically. Of like, okay, why are you picking him over Cade? Okay, because first of all, what I saw in summer league, it looked like Jalen Green was the better player. Like Cade might have the brighter future, but right now it seems like Jalen Green is better than Cade Cunningham as far as getting points on the board, as far as keeping up with the NBA tempo. I think he's better. Um, Also, I thought about the rookies of the year in the past 4 or 5 seasons. So last year was LaMelo Ball. He was the third pick. You had John Morant was the second pick. Doncic was the third pick. Those are the former winners. So the last first round pick was actually Ben Simmons, the guy who's like center of a controversy right now. So yeah, man, like I just started think about it that way, and I just why not Jalen Green? Like he has all the tools. He played a year in the G League. He knows the speed. He's closer to the game speed, and with the Rockets, he's going to get plenty of looks. Um, to put up some numbers, to put up a decent stat line. So that's kind of why I'm leaning Jalen Green for this season, and why I think he'll be Rookie of the Year.
All right, yeah, Jalen Green, right? Jalen Green. I know. I think like you, David. He's gonna have like a little growing pains area of the season. However, I think Cade's is gonna last a little bit longer. I think Cade only had 1 year at Oklahoma State. 1 year, a very quick exit out of the tournament, whereas Jalen Green was playing for the G League Ignite. He was playing with NBA talent or NBA level talent, and in the like you said, Paul, in the summer league, I think he played better than Cade. Even when they went head to head, I think he absolutely showed out against Cade Cunningham. Um, and Shingun, I think, could be a sleeper. I think people are underestimating what Shingun can do. Um, Now I'm gonna throw out my actual like sleeper that isn't on this list, and I think people need to keep their eyes on him, and that is Arkansas's Moses Moody. Um, Keep your eye out for him, man. He's his game right now and where it fits with Steph and the rest of the team is exactly what could propel him and is going to get him a lot of playing time and possibly more faster than the other guys. I don't know who's coming off the bench, who's going to come off the bench for Steph Curry. So why not put Moses Moody out there? Who's going to go out there? He's not going to shoot like Steph, but he does something that Steph doesn't do, and that's play great defense. If Moses Moody can assert his will very early in the league and show that he's just because he's a rookie, he's not a pushover. Because in Arkansas, man, he's a mauler. That's all he does. He just mauls you, man. He makes you uncomfortable. He makes you not want to like be around him because of how well his defense is. So I think he should be. He should definitely be on this list. How he's not on this list is probably because not enough people know. But he'll definitely be up there as one of the finalists for Rookie of the Year.
I just want to touch on that topic just a little bit too. I just think that we're gonna have like I think that the Hawks and the Warriors really hit in the draft, and I think their rookies are just gonna be having valuable minutes and on teams that are gonna make playoff runs. I see Kuminga being like I see him being that piece that Harrison Barnes was on the team. Like I see Moody doing a lot of the things that they needed, like to give Curry a break. I see. I'm really high on Sharif Cooper. I was like when the Rockets drafted with the 24th pick and they took Jay Goop. I was actually hoping they would take Sharif, but I'm actually really happy with who they picked. I think he's a chemistry fit on the team, and I think he's going to be a defensive force. But I can go on and on about these rookies. I really like all of them.
Yeah, man, same. I'm really excited. I at first I was like yelling when Golden State took Kuminga. I was like, he's not the one. I was really saying they should have taken Moody, and then a few picks later they ended up picking Moody anyway. So it's like they win twice because they get a guy who I think is ready to play at the NBA level in Moses Moody, and a guy that's not quite there who's going to take a little bit of time, but they're going to allow to really develop in Jonathan Kuminga because that dude's an athletic beast, and if he can just get his fundamentals down, man, he could definitely be what they're missing on this team. Especially if Clay, like say Clay's not the same that he was last year, you never know. All right, man, let's go ahead and go to the last one. That's MVP. This is the one that we're all waiting for, that we're all hoping, that we're all can't wait to see. And I will start from the top to the bottom, as always. Starting with Luka Doncic for the Mavs, Joel Embiid for the Sixers, Kevin Durant for the Nets, Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Bucks, Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, LeBron James, the Joker, Nikola Jokic, Trae Young, Devin Booker, James Harden, Anthony Davis. Paul, you want to go ahead and go first on this one? This one's tough.
Yeah, bro. This one is tough. But for one reason or another, I think it's going to be Giannis, and I think Milwaukee's going to be very good again. I think they're at least going to the conference championship again. And with LeBron getting old, with Brooklyn just kind of having this question mark looming over it, KD hasn't been healthy in a couple years. I just feel like it's Giannis's to lose. If I have a dark horse, though, a less obvious pick, it's going to be Trae Young, because I know he's still hungry. I know he's looking at the top of the mountain and he wants to get there. So, I would love that Eastern Conference Finals matchup, but that's kind of who I'm thinking. Like, I know the media wants to kind of pass the buck from LeBron, so I think it might be Giannis again. But if we're talking about like most deserving, I'm kind of hoping Trae wins it.
All right, David, go ahead. I'll let you go first.
Man, I see Giannis getting like a lot of votes as well, but I feel like there's part of me that wants to say Luka Doncic is going to take this one. I feel like there may be a time where he's just going to look really good. And I feel like Giannis has done everything he needs to do to establish himself right now. I feel like he's just going to play some really meaningful basketball. But I see the media kind of wanting to give it away as well, taking a lot of the spotlight off of him. So I see Doncic taking it. I feel like they want to give it to someone new. He's a global fixture in basketball right now. I mean, and so is Giannis too. That's another crazy thing. Like, both of these guys aren't just like doing it for America, or they're not doing it for America. They're doing it for the world now. Like, they're global representatives of the sport.
Yeah,
and just want to add something. Is like I felt like Luca was like the favorite going into last season too, but the Mavs just had such a terrible year.
Yeah, and this year without Rick Carlisle, I feel like uh, they're gonna just be a little bit better. But that's I feel like they do good because of Luca,
Hmm. I
and
get
I feel like the team's gonna like just feed off of his energy.
you. Yeah, Luca was a victim to that late start they had. They had a kind of a slow start at the beginning of the season. Um, I'm going KD. I think KD, he's finally got his legs underneath him. Like, don't forget, we gotta remember, like that last season was his season coming off of that Achilles injury. Now we know
Yeah,
that
true.
we know he's 100% healthy. That effort that he put in the playoffs was Herculean. Like I was always like kind of like, yeah, like KD's the better shooter, but I don't think he can like take over a team and blah blah blah. That completely went out the window last season. Last postseason against the Bucks. That dude put that team on his back. He played 48 minutes. Let's go. We got someone in the comment section. Alexis Gonzalez, thank you for joining. Um, we're just talking about KD being my favorite for MVP. Paul has Paul. You have
I had Giannis and
Giannis.
a
Sorry,
dark horse with Trey.
with Trey, and then David. You had Luca. Which Luca, man, I was back and forth with him, but I kind of agree with Paul. Paul, you actually kind of swayed me when you said that he was favored last year and struggled in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Whereas I think KD's coming in like he's in a he's gonna even have a better chance, especially if Kyrie doesn't play. If Kyrie doesn't play and they still the one seed and do what he did last year, I don't and does what he did in the postseason. Um, yeah, man, I think KD's is probably is my favorite to win. Luka's very close behind, and can I just my dark horse is gonna be the man Devin Booker. I think Devin Booker is gonna be like, yo, that finals that is not the best that I can do.
Who is your dark horse, Alec? I'm sorry.
Devin Booker. I think Devin Booker is gonna say that finals version of me is not the real me, and he's gonna ball out, similar to like Kobe, in the early 2000s. Like that's who I see when I see him play, and that's what I think he can be if he really committed.
Uh, let me throw in a dark horse too, just to like I guess since I since I'm the only one without one, but I'm gonna go with Donovan Mitchell as a dark horse. Uh, I like that one right there.
Yeah,
So
Paul knows how much I fell in love with Donovan Mitchell last postseason. My brother hates him, but I'm like, dude, this guy's a baller. Like he
Hell
went
yeah.
out there with an injured ankle, and you could tell immediately like that ankle was still not feeling good, and he was still out there diving on balls, playing defense. Man, like he's a baller. He's what the
yeah,
NBA needs.
certified baller, man. Like
He
at any time of the day, like I feel like Donovan Mitchell's ready.
the NBA needs Donovan Mitchell. I will say that, and I was never the biggest fan of Donovan Mitchell, but last season in the postseason, man, made me a believer. I love the kid. All right, man. Well, that's it for that's all we got for this week. Next week we'll have a full week of NBA action behind us. I haven't checked the score. Let me check the score right now. Let's see, ESPN. The Astros unfortunately are losing. They are losing 1-2 though. It's not like it was yesterday.
Still got a chance.
Yes, there's still a chance. The Dodgers did get the win, so I won like $4 on the betting site, which is cool. And then
It's always better to have money in your pocket.
yeah, it's always nice. And then Milwaukee, I put money on Milwaukee too, and they're up 112-95. So if the Astros and the Warriors can pull out wins tonight for me, that is a clean sweep on my bets tonight.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, like I said, the Bucks are up 112-95. Come back next week. We will be talking all about what we saw in the past games and looking forward to the next week's games. Obviously, we will check in around the NBA, but it will be most likely a very Rockets-centered podcast next week. So tune in. please let your friends know about this NBA podcast, the Red Glare Podcast on YouTube. And we'll see you next week, guys. You can find me on Twitter at AlecMiller0423. You can find Paul. Let them know where they can find you, man.
At PL Trinidad, or on Twitter with the brand new Twitter at Podcast Paul. Hit me up.
Let's go. And David, let them know where they can find you, man. Give your Twitters out.
The Twitter's cruisin, CRUZIN _cruisin, CRUZIN. And then the Instagram is cruisin dirty, cruisin, CRUZIN _dirty. And then I just want to flip the t-shirt real quick. I don't know if y'all recognize this one.
Oh, Dark Magician.
Dark Magician.
The Dark Magician.
Bro, we all got circle shirts on.
Yeah.
I'm rocking the Captain
Yo.
America's ass. But, thank you, Alexis, for joining. I hope you join next week. I would say probably Tuesday. Let's get those early picks in, and there'll be a Rockets game on at the time, so you can put the Rockets game on, join us, talk some NBA. Thank you for joining us, throwing up the H. I love it. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Peace out, guys.
Peace out.